My teenage sister bought a suspiciously cheap iPhone from a woman who disappeared 2 days later. Now something's trying to make me download a backup, and I can hear screaming through my phone at 3 o'clock a.m. I've always thought of myself as a protected big sister, maybe overprotective, if you ask Cassidy. But that's just what happens when you practically raise your sibling while your parents build their law firm. I was there for her first steps, her first heartbreak, and every major moment in between. So when she started changing 3 weeks ago, I noticed immediately. I just wish I'd done something sooner. Maybe then she'd still be here. It all started with that damn phone. Cassidy had been recording in front of her daily TikTok dance routines by her pool. She had quite a following, almost 50K subscribers who loved her choreography videos. She was trying some complicated move when her foot slipped on the wet tiles. I remember the moment in perfect clarity, her old iPhone 12 flying from her hand in a graceful arc, catching the summer sunlight before plunging into the deep end with a quiet plop. She'd screamed like someone had stabbed her. I know that sounds dramatic, but Cassidy's whole life was on that phone. Her photos, her videos, her connections to her audience. We tried everything: rice, silica gel packets, even one of those vacuum chambers that supposedly suck out moisture. Everything worked. The phone was completely dead. Mom and Dad's response was predictably unsympathetic. "You'll have to wait until your upgrade in January," Mom said over her morning coffee, not even looking up from her case files. Consider it a lesson in being more careful with expensive electronics. Cassidy took it hard, really hard. She moped around the house for days using Mom's old iPhone 8 that could barely run modern apps. No more TikTok dances, no more Instagram stories. Her followers started messaging me on my accounts, asking if she was okay. That's probably why she was so excited when she found the listing. Emma, come look at this." She'd burst into my room on a Wednesday night, waving Mom's old phone in my face. The screen showed a Facebook Marketplace listing, iPhone 14 Pro, perfect condition, must sell quickly. The price made me suspicious immediately. It was less than half of what the phone should cost, even used. The seller's profile showed a professional-looking woman in her mid-30s, Marie Thompson, with a job listed at some local tech company. Her profile seemed legitimate with years of photos and posts, but something about it felt off. "It's obviously a scam," I told Cassidy, scrolling through the listing. "Nobody sells a nearly new iPhone 14 Pro for that price. They probably stole it, or it's broken, or—" "God, you're such a pessimist," Cassidy interrupted, flopping onto my bed with an exaggerated eye roll. I already messaged her, and she seemed super nice. She said her company unexpectedly gave her a new phone, so she doesn't need this one anymore. We're meeting at the Riverdale Mall food court tomorrow after she gets off work. My stomach dropped. "You already arranged to meet her?" "Cass, that's not safe. You can't just— That's why you're coming with me." She cut in, giving me her best puppy dog eyes. "Please, Em, I've saved up enough from babysitting the twins. I'll never ask you for anything ever again. I should have said no. Should have told Mom and Dad. Should have done literally anything except what I did, which was sigh and agree to drive her to the mall the next day. If I'd known then what that decision would lead to." The meeting seemed perfectly normal at first. Marie and looked exactly like her profile pictures. Neat brown haircut and an expensive-looking bob. Tasteful business casual outfit. Pearl earrings that screamed responsible adult. She even brought the original receipt in box. "I just hate to see it go to waste," she said, sliding the phone across the food court table. Her hands trembled slightly as she did, and I noticed her knuckles were white where she gripped her coffee cup. I tried to return it to the store, but it was past their policy date. "When I saw your message about wanting it for your TikTok videos, I thought it would be perfect." That detail made me frown. Cassidy hadn't mentioned anything about TikTok in her messages. I'd watched her write them. But before I could say anything, Cassidy had already handed over the cash and was cradling her new phone like it was made of gold. Marie stood up abrupt, nearly knocking over her untouched coffee. "Well, I should go. lots of work to catch up on. She gathered her things with shaking hands. As she turned to leave, she paused and looked back at Cassidy. The expression on her face, I still have nightmares about it. Equal parts relief and guilt in something else. Something that made my skin crawl. "I'm sorry," she whispered so quietly, I almost missed it. Then she was gone, heels clicking rapidly across the mall's top floor. The changes in Cassidy were subtle at first, easy to rationalize away. She stopped posting on TikTok, despite the new phone having a much better camera. "Taking a break," she said when I asked. "Trying something new." But she was on the phone constantly. Even more than before, her fingers flying over the keyboard at all hours. The night conversation started about a week after she got the phone. My bedroom shares a wall with hers, and I began hearing her voice at odd hours, 2 o'clock a.m., 3 o'clock a.m., 4:30 a.m. Not the normal whispered phone calls of a teenager trying not to wake her parents. These were different. Sometimes she'd be laughing, a high nervous sound that didn't sound like her at all. Other times, she seemed to be pleading with someone, her voice cracking with tears. I confronted her about it over breakfast one morning. She looked terrible, dark circles under her eyes, her normally perfectly styled hair unwashed and tangled. She lost weight, too, her favorite crop top hanging loose where it used to fit snugly. "You're imagining things," she said flatly, pushing her untouched cereal around the bowl. "I sleep fine. Better than ever, actually." "Bullshit," I replied, reaching for her phone where it sat on the table. "Let me see who you're talking to." The change in her demeanor was instantaneous and terrifying. She snatched the phone away with a snarl, actual fear fleshing across her face. "Don't touch it. Don't ever touch it." Then, just as quickly, her expression smoothed out. "Sorry, I have private things on there. You understand, right?" I didn't understand. Not then, but I was starting to get scared. The incident that finally pushed me to act happened last Wednesday. I woke up around 2 o'clock a.m. to get some water and noticed the blue glow of a phone screen under Cassidy's door. That wasn't unusual lately, but the sounds coming from her room were. She was crying, harsh sobbing breaths punctuated by what sounded like typing. Then I heard her speak. "Yes, I understand. No, please. I'll do better. I promise I'll do better. Just please don't show them the pictures." I pushed open her door without knocking. The scene inside will haunt me forever. Cassidy sat cross-legged on her bed, tears her face, but she was smiling. It wasn't her normal smile. This was wrong. Stretched too wide, never reaching her eyes. Her phone illuminated her face from below, casting harsh shadows that made her look sealable. When she saw me, she screamed, not in anger or surprise, but in genuine terror. "Get out! Get out! You will ruin everything." I backed away, shaken. The next morning, she acted like nothing had happened. But at breakfast, I noticed something that made my blood run cold. There were bruises on her neck, dark purple marks in the shape of fingerprints disappearing under her collar. When she saw me looking, she quickly pulled her hair forward to cover them. That's when I decided to investigate the phone. I waited until she was at swim practice, one of the few normal activities she still maintained, then went into her room. The phone was there on her desk, which surprised me. She usually kept it with her constantly. It took me 3 tries to guess her password. Our old dog's birthday, same as always, and what I found inside made me wish I'd never looked. The message app was filled with conversations with an unsafe number. Thousands of messages. Starting from the day she got the phone, they began normally enough. "You seem like someone who understands what it's like to be different. I've been watching your Cassidy was, you're so talented. It must be lonely being so much more special than everyone around you." Cassidy's responses were flattered, then increasingly intimate. She shared her frustrations about her parents, her fears about the future, secrets she'd never even told me. The unknown person seemed to know exactly what to say, exactly how to make her feel understood. But then the message has changed. You belong to me now. You understand that, right? Don't make me hurt you again. You know I don't want to. Look at your window. I can see you right now. Wave to me. Your sister is getting suspicious. We might have to do something her. The most recent message made my heart stop. Tonight, 3:00 a.m. Remember our plan. Don't tell anyone. Don't pack anything. Just walk out your front door and keep walking until you see me. If you don't come, I'll show everyone those pictures. And then I'll show them what happened to the others. I did a frantic Google search for Marie Thompson. What I found chilled me to the bone. She had been reported missing by her co-workers 2 days after selling the phone to Cassidy. Her car was found at a rest stop outside town. Her purse still inside. She hasn't been seen since. Going deeper into the phone's files, I found a hidden folder. It contained dozens of photos, all selfies, all of different women. They looked normal at first glance, but something was terribly wrong with their expressions. They all had that same horrible empty smile had seen on Cassidy's face. The final photo was of Marie taken in what looked like a public bathroom mirror. She was crying, mascara running down her cheeks. The caption read, "I'm sorry. I had to pass it on. It was the only way to make it stop. God forgive me. I'm writing this from outside Cassidy's door. She locked herself in her room an hour ago, saying she didn't feel well. Mom and Dad are at some charity gala. I can hear her talking again, but the voice answering her. It's not coming from the phone. It's too deep, too wrong, like radio static mixed with grinding metal and screaming. She's crying now. I'm going to break down the door. Please check your loved ones' phones, especially if they got them secondhand, especially if they start acting differently. And if you see a listing for a suspiciously cheap iPhone being sold by someone desperate to get rid of it, just keep scrolling. Update. 2 hours later, I managed to break into Cassidy's room. The window was wide open, curtains blowing in the wind. Her phone lay on her perfectly made bed, screen still glowing. She was gone. On the screen was a single message from the unknown number. She's with us now. Don't worry. We'll take good care of her. Would you like to know where she is? It's simple. Just download the backup from her phone to yours. I've been trying to track her phone's location, but it keeps jumping around town, never in one place for more than a few minutes. The police aren't taking it seriously. They think she's just another runaway team. They don't understand about the phone, about Marie, about the others. That voice, I can hear it sometimes, coming from my own phone late at night. It keeps asking if I want to know where my sister is, keeps promising to show me if I just accept the backup. I haven't answered yet, but Cassidy has been missing for 48 hours now, and I'm running out of options. Update 2. 10 minutes ago, my phone just buzzed. New message from an unknown number. It's a video attachment. I'm going to open it. I have to know. God help me, I have to.